All right, welcome everyone. I'm going to share a short yoga practice that you can do with the wall. We are going to use the wall to support your feet and legs here. So you want some space in front of the wall you can lie on. You don't need a yoga mat. I just grabbed one because I have it here in my office. You're going to want space on the wall where you can put your feet and room to extend your legs up the wall. We will not be doing a traditional legs up the wall pose exactly, but we will be using the wall to support you as you do some different movements. You may like to have a yoga block for one of the movements that we're going to do. You don't have to have it. So if you had one, go ahead and grab it. If you don't worry about it. I'll give you some alternatives. We're going to start lying down. And you're going to position yourself in such a way that your feet are on the wall. Your shin bones are more or less parallel to the floor. And your thigh bones are more or less vertical. No need to be perfect. Take a moment as you're settling into this position to feel your feet connected to the wall, to invite your thigh bones to get heavy down into the pelvis, and to let your rest of your body settle onto the support of the earth. And you're just going to observe what it's like for you to be here right now. Noticing where you can relax, where you might need to do a little bit of work to be here. Nothing wrong with a little bit of work. Of course, noticing any sensations of discomfort. And adjusting if you can in order to be a little more comfortable. If you happen to have your block, you're going to grab that as well. And we're going to just place the block on the right thigh. Your hand's on the block. Your right thigh is on the other side. We're going to relax here first. And then you're going to see if you can start to press your right leg into the block, maybe even lifting the foot off the wall. You're going to notice what else has to happen as you do that. Do you have to push the other foot into the wall in order to remove the right leg? Is it possible to be a little softer through the left leg as you move the right leg away from the wall and press into the block? What goes on in your low back as you do this? And all kinds of things can show up. So the first thing we're doing is just noticing what happens as you do this movement, and then what happens as you sustain the work of pressing. And then when you're ready, you're going to bring your right leg back to the wall. Take the block away, relax, notice what shifts happen as you relax here. And sometimes people will feel asymmetrical here after they've done one side, so that's okay. It's part of how you might feel. And then we're going to bring the block onto the left thigh, left hand to the block, and then just see what would need to happen to start to press the left leg into the block. You could leave your toes on the wall, or you could see if you could remove your foot and press the hand into the block and the block into the hand. And just get curious about what needs to happen in order for this movement to occur. It might be quite different from the other side. That's normal human asymmetry, normal in nature too. So there's nothing to worry about, but it is interesting to notice how are the two sides different? And what happens as you press and what happens as you hold that work in the left leg? And then when you're ready, you can release the left foot back to the wall, release the block out to the side. Notice if any little shifts happen as you receive the support of the wall here. And then you might take your arms out to a T or maybe just a little bit wider away from your body. So now we're going to walk the feet out to one side. And as you take little steps with first the right foot and then the left foot, your pelvis is going to follow the movement. And you're going to walk the legs only so far as the pelvis can follow comfortably and the left shoulder stays rooted to the floor. And then you're going to walk the legs back the other way, letting your pelvis follow the movement of your leg. And twisting then towards the other side, pelvis follows the feet on the wall. Going only as far as it feels like your pelvis can follow the movement of the feet, and your right shoulder stays rooted to the floor. And then you might just walk back and forth a few times, getting a sense for this movement, the ability of your legs to lead and your pelvis to follow. Just noticing how these movements may or may not coordinate across the different parts of your body. And where does it get challenging for you? So are there places where it's challenging to step? Just notice what you notice. And we're working on getting connections here between all the different parts of your body. So your body is figuring out its strategies for coordinating legs, pelvis, spine, maybe ribs. And you may notice as you do a few of these that your experience of the movement changes as you go from side to side more than once. So if you started on the right side, you're going to finish on the left side. Bring the feet back up to the starting position. So it's like you're sitting in an imaginary chair, feet on the wall. And then we're going to straighten the legs and take the legs up the wall. So depending on your body proportions and how you feel here, you might stay here. Or you might just scooch yourself. You can sit up if you're less lazy than me. You're going to scooch yourself closer to the wall, perhaps. But we're not going to get really close here. So ideally, we're going to be somewhere where the legs feel supported by the wall, but also maybe where we can still have a little bit of space between the low back and the floor. It's not a lot. You don't have to drive a truck through there or anything like that. But to have the low back not fully flattened onto the floor, if possible, we're going to come to such a place. And then we'll take a few breaths here, now feeling if it's different. Are your thighs able to settle towards the floor? Depending on how sticky your wall is, this might be easier or harder. So now we're going to start to bring the soles of your feet towards the wall, toes up towards the ceiling. I'm just noticing sensations as well as does your foot or ankle or leg want to turn as you do this movement? And then heels are going to slide up the wall. Tops of your feet are going to come down towards your shins. You're going to notice if you're doing a lot of work with your toes, if you can do the work more in the foot and ankle and let the toes be more relaxed. And then you're going to go back and forth between these two places a few times, just noticing what you notice. So I'm noticing my left leg wants to travel out as I go. Might notice engagement more in the right toes for me. So you're just going to see what you can put on your map, right? Your inner map of what your experience is in your body as you move. And you may also notice what's going on in your hips, in the fronts of your legs or the backs of your legs, in your abdomen or your low back, your shoulders. So just see if things are getting involved that you maybe wouldn't expect. And then let your feet rest somewhere that feels fairly neutral. As you come to rest, you may notice, okay, now parts of my body are letting go. There's some shifting or changing that's happening as I stop that movement. Sometimes that's really where things are revealed to us. From here, we're going to see if we can keep your pelvis fairly still, your abdomen fairly relaxed, your left leg fairly relaxed. Lift your right leg up and maybe cross it all the way over the left. And then we're just going to take a moment here, noticing how it feels to bring your right leg across your body. Is your whole body rolling after the right leg? And sometimes we do find that we need to bring the feet a little closer together just for the range of motion available in your body. You're just going to see what this is like. And then you're going to see if you can keep the left leg relaxed, uncross the right leg, place the leg back on the wall. And then see, are you able to lift the left leg off? Cross the left leg over. Without too much happening on the right side, in the abdomen, in the shoulders, in the jaw, in the breath. And then what if you uncross the left leg and place it back on the wall? Do the right leg one more time, getting a sense for that movement. And then do the left leg one more time, getting a sense of that movement. From here, we're going to slide the feet down the wall again. You may be in a slightly different position if you scooted closer to the wall. Your thigh bones will no longer be vertical. That's okay. And then when you're ready, you can roll to one side and press your way up. And then you might choose to take a moment in seated to feel how things are now. Sometimes it's also interesting to stand up and take a walk around. Just noticing how it feels to stand and walk after doing a little bit of movement. So these movements are pretty small and subtle. And yet, sometimes we can notice a lot of shifting. A lot can change in our bodies as a result of doing these movements. If you don't notice any shifts or changes, that's okay too. You didn't do anything wrong. There's not a problem, right? But we just want to be checking in so that we can notice when things change, because things are changing all the time, and the way we do our practice gives us the opportunity to influence those changes. If you'd like to share what you noticed or you have any questions, please ask those in the comments. Take really good care. Have fun playing with yoga practice at the wall.